Namaste everyone and welcome to Data Millennials. Hey everyone, welcome back to our Excel series. In this video, I'm going to show you how you can use pivot tables in Excel. So this video will go in three stages. First, introduction to pivot table, then at the beginners level. So introduction to pivot table is the beginners level, then we will have an intermediate level of pivot table use and then the expert level of pivot table use. So have you ever thought why people so much talk about pivot table? What exactly is pivot table? So let me tell you, pivot table is one of the most exciting and powerful tool of Microsoft Excel, as well as it's kind of intimidating because it can help you summarize and make sense of large data set, while it can intimidate you because you are not exactly an Excel expert, right? And pivot tables always have a reputation for being complicated, right? So the question is, why do we use pivot table, or why do we need pivot table, right? So pivot table basically helps you in day-to-day life to summarize, sort, recognize, group, or other statistical functions to to apply the other statistical functions in life. It allows us to basically transform columns into rows and rows into columns, as well as it helps you to group any column or any field and use the advanced calculation in them, right? So pivot table is very important topic in data analytics, because when you have to summarize a huge data, you would definitely go and use pivot table, because whenever you are analyzing something, you need to get some count or sum of some values, and you will be using this pivot table. So this is the theoretical part of pivot table. Let's go to some practical part of pivot table as a beginner. Okay, so I have created this additional column in my data set, in my car data set. Okay, so this is the car category. This is unit number of units sold for this particular car, and what is the profit amount the showroom has made at each unit. So for example, here, if any of the showroom had sold any car, okay, then at each and every car the showroom has made somewhat around 20,724 rupees. Okay, now, so I have currently I have incorporated the random numbers here, and car category is chosen randomly between A to C. So what I'll do is that I'll copy paste it as value so that our value doesn't get changed every time when I press something. So just a tip: when you use random function in a cell, your value will change every time when you press enter or anything changes within the sheet. Okay, so let's go to pivot table now. That's what we are here for, pivot table. Okay, now before creating a pivot table, you have to understand two things. First, what kind of range you are using for pivot, and where you are going to create a pivot. So let's first discuss about range. Now this is my data set, okay, and there is a possibility that in future another car will be introduced in the showroom, right? So the showroom can take another dealership from another car manufacturer, and he can sell another car also. So I know that there might be a possibility in future that my range will increase. Okay, that is the first possibility. The second possibility is that this car thing, so we just assume that we had the list of all the cars in the world, and now we won't be able to get any other record in this range. So going forward in future, we won't have any data in row 34. So there are two possibilities, right? The first one, that the records can increase, we can have data in row number 34. The second possibility is that we won't have data in record number 34. So Before creating pivot table, I have to think about these two categories. If my data is going to increase, or my data will get increased in future and I will have some data in row number 34, then what I will do is that I won't take this particular range. Then if I know that my data range will be increasing, then I'll take this entire column from column A to column O, and then I'll select this entire range which is till this 10 lakh row. Okay, even though it's blank, I'll select it. For our second option, where we are saying that this data set won't increase and we won't have any record in row number 34, we will select this range only. Okay, so let's create pivot table with these two. How to create pivot table? First, select this entire row, sorry, this entire range. Okay, so as per our first scenario, I'll select this entire column even though it's blank after row number 33. Now what I'll do is that I'll go to insert, then I'll click on pivot table. Okay, once you click on this pivot table, you will get this window, small message window. It says choose data that you want to analyze. So I have already chosen my data, and you can see it's showing raw data column A till column O. Okay, if you want to use the external data source, then you can choose this option, but we won't, like in the real scenario, you won't be using this external data source because you don't know whether your external data source will remain at that place always or in that folder always. You don't know that whether the location will be same or not. Okay, so we will always select this option, select a range or table, and then we'll select our range. Now the second option it's asking is choose where you want the pivot table report to be placed, new sheet or existing sheet. If I want my pivot table within this existing sheet, then what I can do is that I can click on this existing worksheet, then I can click on this button. Okay, and I'll go to any of the cell where it's empty. So for example, if I click this, right, so it has taken the destination location. So this act as my destination location T17 act as my destination location for my pivot table. But it's always a good practice to select new sheet so that you can know that which sheet is for your data and which sheet is your pivot table. If your data get increased for columns, then there might be an issue. Your pivot table won't be there. Sorry, your pivot table will be there too, and that might cause some issue, that you will have data in left, you will have pivot table in right, and if you want to paste some new data in the right columns, sorry, in right side columns, then you have to move the pivot table. So it's always better to select new sheet. Okay, then click on OK. We'll talk about this, choose whether you want to analyze multiple tables, add this to data table model. We'll discuss this in our next video. So currently we just clicked on new sheet, new worksheet, and we'll click OK. Now this is the pivot table. The first thing that you need to know is that what is the name of my pivot table. You can see here the name of pivot table. Okay, here is the option which we will go in detail once we create some summarization in this pivot table. Okay, so now the question, whenever you use pivot table, you should always have a set of questions in your mind, that what exactly I want to find out. So when I see this data set, okay, when I see this data set, I have created these three columns thinking about a certain question, that for which category we had highest number of sales. Okay, so with this raw data we won't be able to figure it out in an easy way. That's why we are using pivot table. So now your question is, which car category has highest sales? I'll go to my pivot table. Okay, I need to select category as my column first. When I'm saying column, just think about that you require data in this fashion, vertical fashion. Okay, So you want your first category in H4, then you want your second category in H5, right? Just don't get confused with this row, columns and everything. Okay, I'll also explain this one. So we want our car category in a vertical fashion. So what I can do, I can take my car category and I will put it in rows. Okay, now when I said in vertical fashion, right, we are getting our car category in vertical fashion here, but in this pivot table option it is showing rows. Okay, this means that when it's showing rows, it means that for each row, this is our row. Okay, this is our column. When the pivot table says row, it means that how do you want to fill the data, in rows or in columns? What kind of fashion do you want to represent your data? So I want my data horizontally, but when I want my data horizontally, I want my data points to be incorporated in each of the rows. Okay, now our problem statement was which car or which category has been sold the most. So I'll take my number of units in value. It's a statistical summarization. Okay, now whenever your value will be numeric, okay, by default it will take either count or sum. So currently you can see here that sum of number of units sold, okay, under this value. So when I see this, category A has been sold 4370. Okay, now what will happen if I want to sort it by increasing or decreasing order? So I got my answer that which car has been sold the most. Now I want to get the answer which car has been sold the least. So I'll click on any of this cell which is showing me this number of sum of number of units sold. I'll right click on it, then I'll go to this sort option and then sort smallest to largest. Right now we are getting this row under this row as blank because we were discussing about our first option where our data can be increased, right? So what I'll do is that if I do not want this blank to be appearing here, I'll go to this small drop down menu. Okay, this gives you a filter option by default and you won't be able to remove this filter option from pivot table. I had clicked on it. I'll go and unselect this blank, then I'll click OK. So now blank won't be appearing here. Okay, so now I know that car category C has been least sold category. Okay, so this was the answer of our question. Let's go to our second scenario where I said that our data set won't get increased. Okay, so I have selected this entire range. Okay, now I know that my data set won't increase, so I have selected this entire range. Again I'll go to insert, I'll go to pivot table, my table range has been selected. Now I had my first pivot table in sheet 5, right? So when I was showing you how to create pivot table, I use this new sheet option. Now I'll select this existing sheet option to show you how you can use the existing sheet where you want to put your pivot table. So I clicked on existing sheet, I'll click on this button, then go to sheet 5 and I'll select this E3 cell as my destination of my pivot table. Okay, again I'll click on this small button, then I'll click OK. Right, so your pivot table is appearing here. Now you just have to select the attributes which you want to reflect. So again I'll select car category, I'll drag it to rows, or the another option is that you can directly select car category from this checkbox, and if it is a text value, if it contains text value, it will directly go to rows. If it contains the number values or numeric values, it will directly go into values here. Okay, now I'll take number of units sold here, sum of number of units. So in order to show you that everything is same here, okay, now in this first region we selected entire column A till O. Okay, for this one we had selected from A1 till O33. So our range was A1 till O33. Okay, now why should we select the entire range, sorry, entire column when we are creating a pivot table? And what is the limitation of using our absolute range in pivot table? Now what, suppose in our first scenario when we said that our data range will increase, okay, we can use this pivot table, okay, but we won't be able to use this pivot table because its range has been stagnant. It's fixed that it will always take data from A1 till O33. Now what I'll do is that I'll just insert a new tab here, new record here, which is known as Tesla. Okay, I'll keep everything blank, but for the last three column what I'll do is that I'll drag it, and for this car I'll introduce a new car category which is E for electronics. Okay, now we'll go to our sheet 5. If I refresh this pivot, okay, it takes the value E. The reason behind it, when we are using this entire data set, it's a table, okay, that's why. So when you're using a table, your data set's range get increases when your rows get increased. The same thing goes here with this one. So you need to select E here because we had used the filtration where we selected only A to D. So I had selected E. Now sorry, I was providing you example about if you fixed a particular range for pivot table, what will happen. So let's take this raw data set, okay, and I copy paste this in a new sheet. And then I'll take this range where I won't include this Tesla one. Okay, I won't include this Tesla one. I'll go to insert pivot table, existing pivot table, sheet 5, and I'll select here. Okay, now if I take car category and unit of sold, okay, and if I increase few more records in sheet 6, so if I increase more records here, so suppose it's Tesla is there only as a new record for me. I have included 2 rows for Tesla. This pivot has range from A1 till O33 only. Okay, so this range, this data set or this pivot will not refresh and will not, sorry, it will get refreshed but it will not show me the car category which is E. Now suppose if I change the value here to, suppose, how much should I change, or let's change the category here as so we had Volvo as B, we will do B underscore V. Okay, now this till O33 our range was covered for pivot table, okay, from A1 till O33. So when I change this column M okay, you will see that your pivot table is not showing that category here, B underscore V. So what exactly happened is that I have changed column M car category as B underscore V, okay, and number of cars sold is 172 for this. Now if I minus, or if I reduce this 3259 minus 173, I get a value of 3086, right? So I have changed one of the car category from B to B underscore V, and number of units sold was 172, right? Sorry, I put 173, so I need to put 172. Okay, so when I refresh this, what will happen is that as the range is A1 to O33, it will show me the new category which I have updated there, which was B underscore V, and it will show me the updated number of units sold here for category B, which should be 3087. So let's refresh this. There you go. You see B category has number of units sold as 3087, which I had shown you here after minusing 172. And this, where does this 172 goes? It goes to B underscore V category, which we had introduced. Okay, we had updated this category here in raw data. So once you refresh it, whatever changes or updation you have done in the data, it will get reflected here. Okay, now but the thing is, we are not getting this Tesla. Now suppose I just add Tesla, or for this example, okay, for this example what I'll do, I'll remove this pivot table, and I'll also show you how you can change or update your reference for pivot table. So we are unable to see Tesla here. Okay, so what we can do is that we can go to analyze, click on this pivot table first, then go to analyze, click on change data source. Okay, it will show you, it will take you to the sheet where your data is, then click on this button. Okay, then select this entire row or range. Okay, then again click on this button and click on OK, and then you will be able, once you click on OK, then your pivot table will be refreshed and you will be able to see the new records which has been added in your raw data. So we had added car category E for Tesla and the number of units sold. Okay, but what we had to do here is that we had to go and change the range. Right, now suppose if I create a new pivot table, okay, if I create a new pivot table for this entire range, sorry, for this entire column A till O till the last of the cell. Okay, so I'll do one thing, I'll create the pivot table first and then I'll show you car category and number of units sold. Right, so again we'll keep this blank as it is and I'll add a new car here, Tesla 2. Okay, category would be same E and number of units sold would be 175. Okay, now what do you think, what should happen? Does this pivot table where we had range from A1 till, first we had range from A1 till O33 and then we updated the range from A1 till O35, will it show us the this Tesla record which we had incorporated? And let's keep this category as E1. Will it show us the category E1? What do you think about it? So if I refresh it, nothing happens, it doesn't show me E1. But here we had selected the range, the entire column as a range. So once I refresh it, it shows me E1 and 175. So that is the difference. When you know that your data source won't change and there would be no additional records in your data source, then you should use the absolute range while creating pivot table. But if you are not sure whether your data will get increased or decreased, right, then you should always use the entire columns while creating pivot table. So that was the first thing for pivot table. Okay, the second thing for pivot table is that what we can do with this. Right, now let's take some example. Okay, now we had this pivot table. We can usually sum when we had used this number of units sold, right, we are getting sum of units sold. Now suppose if you want to get count of this category, how many times this category has been repeating in our data set, how you can do that. So you have selected car category in your rows, then what you need to do is that again you need to select any of the column, or majorly we should always use the column which doesn't have blank. Okay, so if I want to get the count of car category, I should always use car category in my rows as well as the car category count. So car category is a string value in that column. So by default what pivot table will do is that it will always take the count of that column. So it has taken the count of this column. So when you see this pivot table, you will see that category A is repeating 9 times. When you say this count, it means that it's repeating 9 times. Category B is repeating 8 times. Category B1 is repeating 1 time. Category E1 is repeating 1 time. Category E is repeating 2 times. Okay, now that was the count. If you want to change the summarization, what you can do is that you can click on this small drop down menu. Okay, then you can click on this value field setting, and for the numeric values you can get sum, average, max, not marks, max, minimum, product. Okay, you can count the numbers also if you want. If there is a certain number in the range in that column, you can count that particular number. Standard deviation, after that standard deviation you have variance also here. Okay, so you can use these things. For example, if I take some other field, which let's take number of units sold only. Okay, now if I want to count, I know that my number of units sold is not blank, so I can take count. It will show me the same count which was showing earlier. You can see here category A has value 9, count of units sold. So this is not showing you the count of units sold. This column currently is showing you how many times this category A is appearing in your data set. Although you have used this value number of units sold in values, but you have, for summarization, you have used it as count. The second option here for us is average. Now when I will be using average, what it will do is that, okay, let's do one thing. Again we'll put number of units sold. Okay, and this time I have taken the sum. Okay, so what I'll do is that I'll show you what average does. So if I take this number of units sold again and I put average here, okay, it will show me the average of the category A. What is the average number of cars sold for category A? So if I take this 437 and divide it by this 9, I should get 485 or 86. So I'm getting the same value, 485 dot. So this is how average is showing. Okay, so again you can go to max, it will show you the maximum of the category, okay, which is, so maximum number of units sold is 952. If you want to check minimum standard deviation product variance, you can do it in the similar way. Okay, now let's go to another example where I can tell you that what exactly you want, what exactly functionality does pivots have. Okay, now we have these categories, and suppose you want to get only those categories which has HP above a certain value, the horsepower. So we have our column horsepower here. What we can do is that we can take this horsepower and put it into filters. Okay, now under this filter, suppose you want your horsepower above 100. Okay, so what you can do is that first you need to click on this select multiple items, so that you can select multiple items at the same time. Then unselect all the values which you do not want. So I want my categories to show the number of units sold only for those categories which has HP above 100. Okay, so I'll unselect the numbers below 100. Okay, and I'll click OK. Now you can see that the numbers have changed, right? Earlier it was showing us 9, right? Category A has 9 car. So this means that out of 9 car, there are 7 cars in category A which has horsepower above 100. Okay, so similarly you can apply multiple filters in pivot table, right? Now, and you can select the values here based on your requirement. Okay, so the second option which I was about to show you is of the calculated field, which we use often in our day-to-day life. For calculated field, suppose you do not want to use the average function which is provided with this inbuilt average function here. Okay, in order to show you the calculated field, what I'll do is that I'll take this sum of profit at each unit for showroom, okay, and divide it by the number of unit sold. So if you want to use a calculated field, what you need to do is, so I'll go to analyze, then fields and sets, and click on this calculated field. Okay, so you remember we had created this total profit column, right, which shows me what was the total profit for category A, sorry, total profit for that car, and in this pivot table it will show me the total profit for that A. Okay, so I'll click on it to include this into my formula. I'll click on insert field first, then I'll put this divide sign, and then I'll put the number of units sold as my another formula. Okay, and I'll click OK. So this is the way you can use your calculated fields. Now you're getting this hash divided by 0 because it's a blank. These two values are blank. Now the last option which I want to show you in pivot table is the slicers. Okay, so now suppose this is our data set and you want to give user a flexibility to select multiple thing at the same time, or the way we had given the way we were given drop down in websites and other places, the same functionality you want to give user the flexibility to select multiple car category and then see the number of units sold, right? So what we'll do is that we will again create a new pivot table. Okay, I'll choose a new sheet here for it, then I'll go to select car name, then I'll select number of units sold for that car, the profit made by each showroom and the total profit. Okay, now currently we have a lot of data here, although it's till row number 33, but we have a lot of row here. So what we can do is that we can use slicers in pivot to give flexibility to the user so that he can select multiple categories. Okay, now in order to provide slicers, what you need to do is that first you need to click on any cell within the pivot table, then you need to go to insert, okay, then click on slicer. You will get the entire list of column which you had in your data set. You can select in n number of columns which you want. I'll select MPG, HP and car category. Okay, now you get this slicer here. What you can do is that you can put slicer anywhere on the sheet so that user can see it first, and based on his requirement he can select and the data will be getting reflected dynamically. So now suppose this is the data, this is the pivot table, right? And if you want to remove this pivot table fields option here, you can cut from this or you can close this. Now I want to see only those car which falls under category A. So within this slicer I'll select A, and you will see that your pivot table is getting filtered at A, category A. These cars are from category A. Okay, now you have selected car category A. Similarly, you can select multiple categories by pressing Ctrl and then selecting it. So I pressed Ctrl and then selected B. Similarly, I pressed Ctrl and I will select column C and D. So once you remove your hand from Ctrl, you will see that your data will be refreshed in this pivot table automatically. Okay, now if I want to select all these 4 cars, or if I want to select everything, or filter, clear the filter, what you can do is that you can click on this button and everything will be selected. Now I'm interested to see car category A which has HP of 150. I can select car category A, then this 150, right, and the data will be refreshed. Similarly, if I want to select MPG which has 15.5, I can click on it and your data will be refreshed or filtered dynamically. So this was the part with slicers. The next thing in pivot table is what you get when you right click on the filters. Okay, the first option is copy. You can copy this cell. The second option is format cell. You can format this cell either in numbers or in different format. Okay, so once you click on the format, you will get these options: general, currency, accounting, date and everything. Based on your requirement, you can format the cell number. So for me, for example, I'll select this and I'll use 100 separator. Okay, and the decimal point will be 0. I'll click OK and you will see that your cell has been formatted. So this format will apply only for this cell. If I unselect everything, so you will see that for this car I had selected this format, so it's applied only on this cell. So I'll unselect everything, I'll clear the filters now. Okay, so let's go to the next option, which is refresh. Once you click on this refresh, if you had updated anything in your original data set, it will get refreshed. Okay, so for example, let's go to this AMC car. Okay, and I'll search for this AMC here and I'll delete everything from here. Okay, now if I refresh this pivot for this AMC, everything that is coming here, 317, 22,803 should get blank. So if I refresh it, you will see that it is getting blank. So what refresh does is that it basically refresh your entire data which has been used for this pivot table for that particular range. Now the next option is sort. If you want to sort this profit, okay, either in increasing order or decreasing order, you can do it from this sort smallest to largest and sort largest to smallest. You will also have this option, more sort option. If you click on that, you will see the same thing and the sort direction from top to bottom and left to right. Okay, now the next option we have is remove sum of profit. So if you click on this sum of profit at each unit for showroom column which we had added in this pivot table will be removed. So if I click on this, it gets removed, right? The next option we have is summarize value by. So you remember when we let me show you this one, show field list. If you click on this show field list, you will get this pivot table field. So you remember when we clicked on this small drop down menu and clicked on value field setting, you will get these options, right? So it's a shortcut. If you want to go to those values and change the statistical summarization, you can go to summarize value and you can select these things, either count, average, max, min or product. Okay, now the next option which we have is show values as. If you want to show it this sum of total profit as a percentage of grand total, you can use it. Percentage of column total, you can use it. So it based upon your requirement. If you want differences of percentage, or if you want percentage of a particular column, rank based on the numbers which is present in profit or based on the values present in profit, then you can use it. Okay, if you go to next option, you have this show details. If you click on this, what it will do is that it will take you to that particular cell and will show you the entire data set which has been used for range. Okay, now the another option for this show details is that I clicked on it, I'll get this in for this Duster 360, I'll get the entire data set, right? If you double click on this value or either on this value or this value, you will get the same thing. So let's double click on this 205. You get this entire data set which has been used in the range. Same thing, if you click on this sum of total profit cell, you will get the same thing. Now for example, if you go to grand total, okay, and double click on it, what will happen? It will give you the entire raw data in a better table format. So let me double click on it and you will see this entire data set which has been used for this pivot table. Okay, so the next option that we have in pivot table is value field setting. So if I click on it again, I'll have the same option which I had shown you. If you click on this small drop down value, the options that you get, you will have here. Okay, the next option is pivot table options. Okay, this one gives you a little bit of more flexibility with the display or design of your pivot table. So the first one is layout and format. If you want to merge and center cells within label, you can use it. Okay, for error values, if there is any error, if you want to show some specific value, then you can use it. For empty cells, for example, you can see that we have our empty cell here for AMC, right? This first cell. Now if I do not want my empty cell in pivot table, then what I need to do is that I need to right click on it, then go to pivot table options. For empty cells, I need to check this checkbox. For empty cells, I want to either I can show NA or 0. So most probably so this number of units sold and profit is numeric, right? So I'll show 0 and I'll click OK. Then you will see that the value which you have incorporated for your empty cells is appearing here. So I incorporated 0, right? Now the next option that we had within this pivot table option is autofit column width on update. So whenever you refresh this pivot, if the car name is huge, or you have updated the car name from AMC to something else which doesn't fit within a cell width, what it will do is that it will resize this column. Then the next option is preserve cell formatting on update. If you want to preserve the cell formatting, for example, if I want this cell to be highlighted in red, okay, and I don't want it to be changed when my pivot table get refreshed, then I can use that option, which is preserve cell formatting on update. So whenever your data will get updated, this format which I had applied on this cell won't get changed. The next option is total and filters. If you want to show the grand total for row, which is here, right, you can keep this checked, otherwise you can uncheck it. If you uncheck it, then it will remove the grand total from your rows. So this grand total from your rows means that this grand total is for the entire thing, right? This grand total is for entire thing. If you have multiple, if you had applied grand total at a row level, then it won't show the grand total, which I will show you ahead. Okay, so if you want to show grand total for columns, then you can keep it checked, or if you then or in the another case you can uncheck it. Filters, allow multiple filters per field. If you want to allow user for multiple filter on each of these fields, then you can check this button. Okay, and then I'll click on OK. So if the next column which I will have in column B, for example, if I have MPG here, okay, right, you will see that it goes down here. So when you click on this filter button and you click on this small drop down menu, you will see this MPG and this car. So if you click on this car, you will be able to filter out the cars. If you click on this MPG, you will be able to filter out the MPGs here. Okay, let's go to our simple format. Now the next option with the pivot table was in totals and filter, use custom list when sorting. If you want to use your own custom method of sorting, then you can use it. Okay, now alternate text, we'll go to alternate text, and if something goes wrong with your data and your pivot is not getting refreshed, or if it shows blank, the entire pivot is blank, then what kind of description do you want to show? Or when somebody hover over your pivot table, what kind of information do you want to show? You can input it here and it will show there. Now the first, okay, I didn't show you the display option, right? Okay, so let's go to display option. The first one under this display option is show expanded and collapsed button. Now what happened is that with this button checked, we had that button checked, right? So for this to work, what we need to do is that first we need to click on this button, merge and send, under display we need to have this classic pivot table layout enabled, okay, and then click on OK. So you will see that this minus button here, okay, if I click on it, then the next value in the cell will get disappeared, and if I want to click on plus, then the next value will appear. So that is what it's giving me with this display option, show expanded or collapse button. So this plus or minus is the expand or collapse button. If I uncheck it and I click OK, then you won't be able to collapse this column or the value of this column. Okay, now the next option is showing tooltips. So if you currently if you hover over this pivot table, you will be able to see the tooltips what Excel provides you by default. So if you uncheck it, then you won't be able to see that. Now the next option is display field caption and filter drop down menus. So if you want to display the field caption, which is header, I want this to be displayed, right? If I don't want it to be displayed, then I'll directly click on this, okay, and your header will be gone from here. The values will remain, but in the value which you have given in rows here, car name and MPG will get disappeared. Okay. Now the last and most important option here is classic pivot table. If I uncheck this, okay, and if I click OK, then what will happen is that if I take MPG, MPG, if I take it here, then what will happen is that, okay, I had created this as a traditional pivot table, so it will always act as that. So I had undo it, then I'll go to pivot table option. Then if this option is unchecked, okay, then if you add another row or another column under the row, your values will get down of this particular first column which you have selected in row. Okay, in order to see this particular column in the next cell, what you need to do is that you need to select the display as classic pivot table layout. So if you select this and click on OK, then you will be able to see the car name and the MPG in the next cell, corresponding cells, right? It makes more sense to see the values in cells. So for example, if I'm creating table from my pivot table where I want to show car name, MPG and horsepower, right, then I have to select display as classic pivot table so that user can see car name, their MPG and horsepower. The display won't be good if car name comes on the first cell, then under that it comes the MPG in this cell, then under that cell comes as HP, which is the normal pivot table. Okay, now the next thing is that if you want to show this subtotals, you can show it, but if you do not want to show this subtotal, then what you need to do is that you need to go to design. Okay, you need to click on subtotals. Do not show subtotals. If I click on it, the subtotals will be removed from this pivot table. Now it looks pretty good that your car name is here, then MPG is in the next cell and HP is in the next cell, right? The another option under subtotals is that show all subtotals at the bottom of the group. So right now car name is a single thing. If I take this car category here, then it will make sense for me that for category A we will have this much of number of cars sold and this much of profit. Then at car level also it will show me total at a car level it will show me the total, how many number of units sold, but already we have this value 932 here, so we don't want this value here to be repeated. Okay, for this and for this. So what we can do is that we can right click on this value and we can uncheck this subtotal car name. Again we can uncheck this MPG, subtotal MPG, right? Okay, now we are able to see only car category and their total value. So now the subtotal is at a category level and we already have a grand total here. Now let's go to grand totals. If you want the grand total of row and column to be off, or if you don't want it to show, then you can use this option. Okay, if you want to show grand totals for rows as well as column, then you can use this option. If you want this grand total to be shown only for rows value, then you can use this option, or only for column values, then you can use this option. Okay, now the report layout thing. If you want to show the report in a compact form, you can use this one. If I click on it, you will see that it's in a compact form. So it's similar to the pivot table which we had created earlier, right? So under this car name we will have this MPG and this horsepower, but it doesn't make a lot of sense, right? So we won't be using that most often. So we again will go to report layout and we'll next option is show in outline form. So we'll click on it and we'll see that under this category A we have this much of car which has been bifurcated, and under this car we have this particular MPG, and under at this 3 level we had this HP value. So it also doesn't make sense. So it's depend upon your data whether you want to show, how do you want to show it. So currently we have this car data set which doesn't make sense to show at this level. What we can do is that we can either use it in a tabular format where you will have this category A which will be like this. So for all this category A you will have this car name and this MPG values, their MPG values in their corresponding cells. Now the fourth option is repeat all item. If you click on this, what will happen is that this category A will be repeating in every cell. Then this category B will be repeating for its corresponding cells, for its corresponding car values. So I'll click on repeat all label. Now you can see that whichever was blank, the first row contained B, and then all of these rows were blank, or these cells were blank for these cars, because these cars falls under category B, is now appearing here, right? The next option is repeat, sorry, we have done that, do not repeat all items. So again, if we click on this, we'll go back to the earlier option where we do not have this value A repeating for these car, their corresponding car name. So the category will appear only one time. Now the next option is blank rows. So insert blank row after each item. So if you click on this, what will happen is that for each item in the row, at a row level, it will insert a blank column. Okay. Then there is another option which will remove the blank line after each item, right? So within this we have this another banded rows which basically highlight your rows alternatively. Okay, this one is branded column. So what it will do is that it will highlight the column values, alternate column values. So we require this row header. If we uncheck this, right, so currently we are using this traditional pivot table, so the row headers won't disappear. But if you had used the normal pivot table, then row headers would have gone disappeared. If we click on this column headers, right, so this column header formatting will be gone. So with this row header and this column header, what it happens is that the format is gone, and in the normal pivot table the row headers will get either disappeared or it will not get highlighted. Basically the highlight feature will be disappeared. So the last thing with pivot table is the design. So currently we have this normal design for our pivot table, right? So we can see that we have this pivot table which is normal. So if you want to put some other design for your pivot table, what you can do is that you can go to design, okay, then click on this. Under design you can click on this small drop down menu and you can select the design that what exactly you want. Okay, so let me select this row column headers and row headers and column headers, and then select other designs. So if I click on this design, you will see that the design has been applied on the pivot table. Okay, so in order to use this design, it's mandatory for you to click on any cell within this pivot table and then go to design, otherwise it won't work. So if I click on this, the design will be applied. Okay, so let me know if you guys have any questions or anything is confusing to you with this pivot table. So we have reached at the end of this video. In our next video, I'll show you how you can get a distinct count of a column attribute using pivot table. Hey, if you find this video insightful, then do check out other videos and hit the like and subscribe button.